just a short and sweet one today. He's all right. I haven't come as an American. This is literally what I'm wearing today. It's nice and matching though, isn't it? Nice to see you. Nice to see people up in the comments already. Where I is. So he's about rocking the E's. Not literally with Mr. C, Mr. D, E. Joanne's in. Happy Friday, everybody. Nice to see you. There was no show yesterday. I'm going to tell you why, man. A Coke can was expressed, or not a literal one, but one the size of a Coke can. It was a deeply haunting moment in my life, and I took time afterwards to pause and take some reflection. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It was a horrible. I took a picture, but I'm not going to show you the picture because I would be showing you a picture of a poo. 1 minute 7 in, can't say the word I want to say because I'm an adult. So it's poo time. So yeah, there's no show yesterday, and I was absolutely sick as a dog off it. I looked at a diagram of what it's like to be constipated, right? And it's just horrific, and it's no wonder I was feeling the way I was. So I'm still like that, but I'm expressing owl pellets today with not much encouragement. So there's progress. Peace in the Middle East. Wonderful. We'll move on. If you would like to help us monetize the Cow Daily YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/cowdaily. Please watch this on the YouTube. Link in the description if you want to click through. Really would help. We'll get it monetized. Happy bloody days. Also, while you're there's a community tab. There's some posts, polls, that kind of thing. Helps work to grow the channel, and we really appreciate it if you go there. Also, if you want to support our work directly, go to patreon.com/cowdaily. Very much appreciated. Also, link in the description of our PayPal if you would like to make a one-off donation to support and fund our work as we kick against the pricks upon the daily. Just more comments of people joining. They are. Nice to see you, Jacqueline. Nice Duncan. Bob's in. Right, so we'll crack on. Today, there's a few things I've seen these new Labour videos. I watched them last night when I was a bit amongst the devil's lettuce, and I was laughing. So I thought, right, I'll save them. I'll not watch them over and over. I'll just watch them like fresh. Also, Trump's put a statement out, which is hilarious. So that's getting read, and then there's just a smorgasbord of other things. Audio people, I'm about to take a drink. I'm back. I'm on the old lemon balm tea today, but my partner's come back home and she's bought us one of them silver herbal tea balls, which is in there. Honestly, next level. I can recommend it for all you herbal tea aficionados in the world. Right, 2 seconds. I'm just going to pull this up. What we're going to do, what do you want to do? Actually, we'll do Labour, get them out of the way, look at these dafties boat races. It is 3 minutes 24 though, so I should probably long this out until the 5 minute mark. Nah, we'll just play it. And actually, no, we're probably going to have to long it out a little bit because we need to get to the bit where I can say what I want to say. I just want to give a shout out to Gareth Bundy there. He's making some quality memery. There's one here on the screen. Labour, more of the same, but with less scrutiny. Indeed. Right. Sorry, we'll play the video. This is unbelievable, right? I've got to warn you before you embark on this, right? Your cringe settings, you need to strap yourself in before you even get close to baseline, because I swear the horror bag geeks it's just horrendous. Like, what are they thinking, man? Like, who's saying, Anna, let's make this? But anyway, you'll know what I mean. Check this out, man. Oh man, it's not working. Why does it do this to us? Don't do me like that. Anyway, this is gonna work though. Check this out. Honestly, look at this fool's boat race. Cringe.
Are we ready?
No.
Let's get out there and build a better Britain.
No, let's go build a better Britain, grotbags, liar. Here's Britain. Oh, look at Britain. Oh, there's flags. We needed more flags in Britain because we love Britain, grotbags. What do you make of that? Tell us in the comments. I mean, that's the first one, right? And Angela, I'll even stab my own partner in the back, Raina, to get ahead, is potentially going for the title of fakest person in Britain. But then you realize she's doing it with Keir Starmer, so she's never going to win that race. And then they just put some flags on the end of a Blackpool Tower because it's Britain and that's the symbols of Britain that focus groups tell us all about in Britain. Here's another one with the biggest amount of like deep house landfill dirge soundtrack I think I've ever had the misfortune in my life, at least, to hear. So check this one out, man. Honestly, just get your sick buckets ready. Oh, Starmer. Old gadgies. Here's some sellouts. Here's some old sellouts. Even these kids are sellouts. You're selling out, kids. Look at the state of these sellouts. Oh, even that dog's a sellout. Look at them putting them in a Harrington so you can look a bit modish. You don't wear Harrington normally. Just like that Stone Island polo here. It's about as effective as you're punching. Some flags. Here's some flags. Here's oh God, no, they're not him. Just see them joggers looking at him. What a cunt, they think. Honestly, man, just where's the flags? I haven't got enough flags, mate. Can you sort this out? Cheers, you've sorted it out. I didn't have enough flags. Cheers, pal. Thanks, lads. Flags. What do you make of this? Because what I'm making of this is like, it's as if nothing mattered. Get the PR firm in, and nothing happened. And right, we need more of the flags. We need some kind of. Here's what you should have done, you deeply uncool people. Employ some people who actually understand things, right? So if you want to speak to the working class, enough with just the flags. What you want is that tune, Chase the Sun from the Darts. Pay whatever it takes and slap that over the top of the same video. You will have the fictional red wall salivating to vote for you because it's a bit like the Darts, isn't it, Keir, you know? So anyway, I'll invoice you $5,000 for that information. Just remodel the entire thing. Actually, just go fuck yourselves. Chase the Sun. That one. I hope we don't get copyrighted for that. Jez Hunt. My toes are curling to the point I'm snapping off my boots. Yeah. Raina won't even sit next to him, says Zoe. Why will StreamYard not allow this? There we go. It does exist. Man, it's just like back to the savagery. I remember what it was like when they were like doing the whole turd polishing thing, and they were spending fortunes on advertising and stuff. I mean, they'll be budgeting in like members' money for and an advertising budget for delivering leaflets now because there's no people like you and I to do it anymore, or very few. And if they are, they're quite old. Quite a lot of them I've heard. So they're not going to be able to get out as much, are they? Not like the young and vibrant times that we had. Michael Sweeten vomiting. He goes on to say awful. Barbara Griffiths in the house. What have I just watched? Did they pay someone for that crap? Yes, and it would have been tens of thousands of pounds, and it would have been all like, let's get a circle back and talk to the focus groups and see what symbolism's going to really win votes. I tell you what symbolism's going to win votes. Care policies which help everybody living in poverty. You know, just like Jeremy Corbyn did in 2017, was just a few thousand away, but you've spun this lie that like that wasn't the case. And lots of like really weird people like repeat that lie and then try and act all sensible like you because they're sellouts. Anyway, what Lawrence is saying here is just because they're with him doesn't make them sellouts. It does, Lawrence, to have picked a side. Take the invite, go along, see what he said and his behaviors for future use. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. No, I tried that in the past and they were shitbags. So I'd prefer to keep everybody at arm's length, to be quite honest with you, pal. Look, a line's been drawn, mate, and I know you feel discomfort with that, but that's okay. That's life. It happens. I'm not on his side. Like, people can choose to do whatever they want to do, but I've drawn a line. The Labour Party is a right-wing party. I don't need to go along and hear what this fuckwit's got to say. I'm more like up on that than you know. I knew exactly what he was like before he stood for the leadership, but it was hard for me to like betray sources, sort of thing, because I won't do that. But I tried telling you. I showed you a post from back there when I tried telling you, and I formed it up in giving a comment on every one of the leadership people. I mean, that should have been enough in itself, but like people didn't want to believe it. But big up the people who did get in touch and say, yeah, you were right, Starmer, Rama, and all that. Lawrence, the Labour Party's done, pal. We're over. It's over with. It's not happening. Not happening. Like, I can't be in any way comfortable with bullying asylum seekers because that's what they're on. They would just want to like manage fascism, or give the impression that they'll manage fascism a bit better than the Tories. The top moment is this get the Tories out thing that people are on is lazy. It's also evidentially stupid, and I don't give a fuck anymore to try and like I'm not trying to win any favor or any of that shit, and I never was. But I'm definitely just like saying it as it is, and people can either like that or fuck off, basically. Everything I'm saying, I can back up everything, and I do every day. And people like just seem to want to just let that slip over the top of their fucking head, and that's not my problem. And I'm not going to even try and be part of this whole cult of civility anymore, because that cult of civility just is part of the glue that is keeping the status quo like it is. And a vote for the Labour Party is the status quo. Fuck Keir Starmer all day, every day, Angela Rayner, and all of those, the rest of them. Please share the stream, good people, if you want other people to hear more vitriol directed towards people you didn't like. Read just a few bits. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who this is, audio people, but the comment is brilliant. It's from Mick on Twitter. This scabby rat should get nowhere near a position of power. Class, scabby rat. All right, this is something I wanted to put up, right? It kind of ties into like my response to Lawrence there a little bit as well. Things aren't just like black and white, there's shades of grey. And this was a guy, Phil Waller, on Twitter. He says, I got Corbyn wrong. Apologies to all those who believed in him whilst I derided him. Having a chat with the other half tonight, she is of the same opinion as I am. She sees it as a setup. Both of us in 2019 thought differently. We now see it as a stitch up. What can you do? Well, what you can do first, Big Phil, there is show some genuine contrition. And I appreciate that, man. It actually made us feel good. I was not surprised by some of the responses when I posted that on the Facebook page yesterday. And I really wanted to just bring it up now. I don't want to live in a world where there's no like comeback for people. Like there's no way back, more pointedly. And there was quite a lot of people going, well, you say that now, but you could have said that in 2019. I understand, I get it. I feel that bitterness too. But I don't think we progress at all unless there's a space for people to come back from believing the lies about Jeremy Corbyn and just anything really in life. If people come with a good heart, then I think if it's genuine, then what do you think the outcome is going to be of us just going like, just fuck off? Like, see you later. Like, that's just a whole group of people who are just completely mugged. They're being mugged by the people who used them, and they're being mugged now by the people who they contributed to abusing. But I would strongly suggest this. Not everybody has time to keep up on things all the time. I mean, it's one of the reasons that we're trying to do this in like the way that we're doing it, because sometimes the news and the way it's presented, it's fucking boring. So, you know, we're trying to make it as entertaining as possible and just do it a bit differently. But, you know, we're just small starting this channel out properly on the regs. So, you know, it's going to take a while to get there to make any like bigger impact. So my point is that we need to just like hold space for these people. And I felt like that lad was being genuine. He didn't have to take to Twitter and put that out to literally everybody who knows him. I mean, that's going to start some conversations for him, isn't it? Because, like, you know, these things don't just happen in a vacuum. People don't just like have these mad, like, opposite opinions about people from nowhere. And look, we can also think this, right? a lot of people, especially people who don't pay attention as much as maybe as you or I do, they're gonna be completely susceptible to one of the best funded and industrial scale smear campaigns that you'll ever see. And look, however, like we can throw some people a bone. The ones that like show genuine contrition, but cautionary, we should always keep an eye out for the people who aren't. And I think one of the things that the last few years has taught me, I thought I was fly me. I thought I was like, yeah, I get it. I know how to suss people out, and I didn't. But one of the things the last few years has taught me is don't give so much of myself from the off, but just wait. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just going to tweak it. But you've just got to be a bit more careful. And I think that was one of the problems with the left in general. It tends to have a much higher instance of kind people, and like people who are genuinely kind generally tend to be naive with it as well. So I think if we can get rid of a bit of the naivety, because you know what it is, not everybody thinks or feels the way we do. Some people will abuse, and we understand that. But that's not what this is with this guy, is it? It's a completely different thing. So as much as I acknowledge people's bitterness, I think we need to work on ourselves first. And if we do that, then the world can know peace a bit quicker, because you've got to build peace within you and build community based on that peace, I guess. But that doesn't, like, there's some people there's never, ever, ever, ever going to be any way back at all, because the things that they've done were so heinous. I don't really think this is one of them when people come with genuineness like this. I do when people don't and still hold that shit, because it's such a blatant and flagrant load of shit that, like, at this point in 2023, to not show this kind of contrition like Phil Waller is just weird. So anyway, in 2017, 2019, we worked against Labour. That's why you've had so many painful years of the Tories. There's a picture of Blair, West Streeton, and a whole cast of arseholes. Right, Trump, got to do it. Got to do a bit of Trump. Check this. So he's put a statement out on Facebook, which is mad in itself. Just bear with us. I'm going to have a drink. Ah, God, man. Honestly, that tea's so much better out of that mad ball. Anyway, what's he got to say? I didn't actually read the whole thing because the first paragraph was hilarious. So I just like had to not. I just feel like things are often better if you just like read them at the same time as everybody's hearing them. So anyway, this is what he's got to say. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. This is political, but actually I'm not going to do his voice. It's really hard to do. This is political persecution and election interference at the highest level in history. From the time I came down the golden escalator at Trump Tower, and even before I was sworn in as your president of the United States, the radical left Democrats, listen, I'm just going to stop a little bit as we go along. To call the Democrats, who are like basically a right-wing party in the same vein as the Labour Party in the UK, radical left, is straight from the Steve Bannon playbook, who, like, regular viewers and listeners will know, we've got a whole folder on fascism, Steve Bannon, and how this all links in with just the sort of wider networks and in the UK too. So this type of language comes from that. Their stated aim, as I've said many times, is to change the way language is viewed or how things are described, much like a great example of that being Nazis were socialists. And that's took on some real traction, and that shows you the repetition of things like that. People can believe any old shit, just like the Jeremy Corbyn thing. But anyway, Trump says the radical left Democrats, the enemy of the hardworking men and women of this country, well, they are, that's true, have been engaged in a witch hunt to destroy the Make America Great Again movement. Well, probably that too as well, but like there's no smoke without fire, pal. You remember, just like I do, Russia, 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 the Mueller hoax, Ukraine, 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 impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2, the illegal and unconstitutional Mar-a-Lago raid, and now this. How he gets away with this shit, man, it's mad. The Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession with trying to get Trump, but now they've done the unthinkable, indicting a completely innocent person in an act of blatant election interference. Just bear with us here. Never before in our nation's history has this been done. The Democrats cheated countless times over the decades, including spying on my campaign and weaponizing our justice system to punish a political opponent. He has done all of this himself. It's that thing that narcissists do where they just point the finger and like talk about the things that they've done. They've done it as well, but he has done it, and he's talking as if he's some kind of mad hero. People like narcissists are weird, aren't they? and a punch political opponents who just happened to be president of the United States and by far the leading Republican candidate for president. Has never happened before, ever. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, who was handpicked and funded by George Soros. There's the anti-Semitic dog whistle again. We've got a little bit on that in a minute. Video is a disgrace. Rather than stopping the unprecedented crime wave taking over New York City, it's not unprecedented. I mean, look back to your pal Giuliani when he brought the whole zero tolerance thing in and whatever. Like back then, it was far worse. What you're talking about? He's doing Joe Biden's dirty work, ignoring the murders and burglaries and assaults he should be focused on. This talking about the DA, Alvin Bragg. This is crazy. He's attacking the DA like this, but it's all Trump, isn't it? He goes on, this is how Bragg spends his time. I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden. The American people will realize exactly what the radical left Democrats are doing here. Everyone can see it. So our movement and our party, united and strong, will defeat Alvin Bragg, and then we will defeat Joe Biden, and we're going to throw every last one of those crooked Democrats out of office so we can make America great again and block capitals like a mad man. Crazy, eh? I mean, what goes on? What the actual is that guy on? And as I said, like one of the things that like really stood out for me there was the anti-Semitic dog whistle about Soros. So hold up, we'll just pull this up. This is from the Mehdi Hasan show. You may know him as a journalist who was, I think it was the New Statesman he wrote for in the UK. But I'm not sure. I can't remember. But he works over the pond in America now. So just bear with us. I'm just going to pull us up here. StreamYard, please come here. Thank you. Right, so just bear with us. The StreamYards took an absolute shit again. But that's all right. That's how we do. So anyway, Mehdi Hasan, you'll see him here. Should be up on the screen. And he will be. He's talking about like the Soros angle and giving a bit of a deeper dive into that, which is a good thing. So I think we should get that off without any further ado.
For the right, every story needs a villain. And for the story of Donald Trump possibly being indicted, they found one. It's not Trump, of course. It's not Stormy Daniels. It's not even Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Not really. It's one evil, sinister puppet master who they tell us is behind all of it.
Some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA.
A Soros prosecutor.
This prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, is from George Soros' side.
Listening to his master, George Soros.
George Soros.
Mr. Soros.
Alvin Bragg in particular is the most radical DA you can ultimately get to. George Soros funded him over $1 million.
Actually, George Soros did not give Alvin Bragg $1 million, and we'll get to that in a moment. But that's not really the point of these attacks anyway. George Soros is a Hungarian-American billionaire known for supporting progressive causes like criminal justice reform, but he's also a Jewish Holocaust survivor. So for right-wing politicians around the world, not just in America, throwing Soros out there as a catch-all attack on anything liberals do has become a convenient and common anti-Semitic dog whistle. It's the latest version of a centuries-old trope that rich and powerful Jews are working behind the scenes to shape global events. Viktor Orban's far-right government in Hungary has attacked Soros for years. Here in the US, the billionaire has been blamed by Republicans, by Fox, by Trump, for everything from the migrant caravan to Black Lives Matter demonstrations. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that have led to real-world violence. When a Trump supporter and Fox fan sent pipe bombs to high-profile Democrats in 2018, he included George Soros. Now, Republicans, of course, say their attacks on Soros have nothing to do with anti-Semitism. They're just following the money. And it is true that Soros donates to progressive DAs and criminal justice reform efforts nationwide. But guess what? Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is not a Soros DA or a Soros-backed DA, not by any stretch. The only thing linking Soros and Bragg is a PAC called Color of Change, which got $1 million from Soros during Bragg's primary campaign in 2021. The PAC endorsed Bragg and spent money urging voters to back him, but they never donated to Bragg directly. And that $1 million represents, by the way, less than a third of the money that the Bragg campaign itself raised. To be clear, money never flowed from Color of Change to Alvin Bragg, let alone from Soros to Bragg. In fact, Soros didn't give the money to Color of Change and say, spend it on Bragg, who, by the way, was touting his record of going after Trump well before Color of Change pledged to spend any money promoting his campaign. And Soros says he's never had any contact with the DA. We asked him, quote, George Soros and Alvin Bragg have never met in person or spoken by telephone, email, Zoom, etc. There has been no contact between the two. Neither George Soros nor his Democracy PAC contributed to Alvin Bragg's campaign for Manhattan District Attorney.
Right, there we go. That'll do. Just, oh, for fuck's sake. Just bear with us there. There's something going off here. Shut up, Mehdi. Not about anti-Semitism, it's a scourge, but just shut up. We've had enough of hearing from you. So there you go. I mean, I looked into this whole George Soros thing, right? Like, I hadn't really paid it no mind. I mean, he's hardly like the greatest person on earth, but he seems to be using a lot of the money he made like in a really dodge-pot way, and he's doing good things with it, as I say. And like, I started following the Open Rights group, which is doing fantastic work trying to like protect like our freedom. And I was like, right. So as you mentioned, and then we've mentioned on this show before, Mehdi Hassan talked about how Viktor Orban, who is basically far right, and he links in with Bannon. He's very deep in with Bannon, Trump, and whatever. They've been attacked. That's where a lot of this started, the anti-Semitic attacks towards Soros. Now, at the end of the day, like, Soros is a billionaire, and billionaires tend to have made their money in bad ways. So, like, it's not a case of like, yay, Soros is like such a great guy. Maybe he's just feeling guilt in his older years, or maybe he's just part of another faction of the establishment, and there's some kind of mystery other reason why all this good stuff's happening, because, you know, they have competing agendas. Maybe there's just some nice billionaires. I don't know. But what I do know is this: the linking of Soros's name to a lot of these different things is an immediate dog whistle to Trump's base. This is really dangerous stuff, man. Like, it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous for the Jewish community, of course, but it's also really dangerous for like just the social fabric. And I'm not just talking about in America, but you see people from all over the place. I mean, I'm from like Newcastle, Gateshead, whatever. You hear people like talking about this kind of stuff, and it's straight from like, they're even using American spelling as like overarching point, that having this punked at them by like American sort of propaganda. I mean, imagine somebody from Bolton like walking down the street and going, "Oh, that's Soros," and just like, this shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be happening. But it's an industrial, like, global propaganda network who wants the same thing, which is fascism, like global. So it's like sort of transnational nationalism, I think, is the best way of putting it. So ideological, like birds of a feather, but the, like, you know, like Meloni in Italy, but she would align with Le Pen, would align with Orban, and it's to try and like have some form of a control grid going on. So be interesting, because Boris Johnson's part of that network, Trump's part of that network. You know, they're certainly linked to it. Well, Trump's definitely part of it. Johnson linked to it. So it'd be interesting to see where this goes. Let's take some of your comments before we get off for the weekend. Like, read. Hold on a minute. Scroll back. Is it been busy? Sorry, it's that Labour song. It's just, this is probably why they've chosen it, because it's deeply horrible but catchy. Like, we need another earworm. Thanks, Keir. Show me some more flags. Speaking of flags, I've got the flag of the Spanish Republic on us here. Shout to the Golden Smog Warriors basketball team from Middlesbrough. Go and check them out. Actually, they've done some amazing stuff down there. Golden Smog Warriors. You shall find them. Right. Michael is saying you cannot get the Tories out by voting Tory. This is true. You can't. Bob is saying when political choice is removed, then it can only end in mayhem and violence. Absolutely true. I mean, this is I'm really worried about this, and I'm putting something together like from a UK perspective, Bob. I'm really worried. The more the penny's dropping with people, right, the more they're realizing that democracy is like basically a sham, which is not a good place if you look historically when people think that. that develops righteous indignation, but people are bitter, angry. The conditions there where they can't put the heating on and it's been a particularly hard winter, particularly in the north of England. I don't know, it's like being like where you live, you're from, and people. I'm worried going into summer, like the rebound effect from that. But it's just this like, it's not good. Let's have it right. It's not good. And these people that we're referencing, the International Fascist Network, this is them rubbing their hands, because at the end of the day, the left, certainly in the UK, is nothing to speak of. We have to rebuild it, and it's going to be bloody hard. Leon is saying, do you worry about how this will all end? Yeah, I do. I'm worried today, definitely. One thing I'm worried about is like, I feel somebody said this to us, and I do feel like it. Says, "Are you like the bloke in the disaster film who's running around going, no, look at this, no, this is," and they're all like, "Shut up, man! I want to go to the pub. You know, what's wrong with this crank? Why?" Like, that's what I feel like. Crazy, innit? Right, so we'll get some on the Trump stuff. Leon is saying he hands the crayon notes to a transcriber who translates it. They have to keep an eye, though. He eats the crayons. Right. Is it on Facebook? It is, Barbara. They let him back on Facebook the other week. Mad, innit? Crazy, but this is what it is. Leon is saying they pick Soros because they know the grassroots isn't going to defend a billionaire influence in politics. The right doesn't have these moral lines for power. It's a really good point, that, actually, because I'll just be like, I'm not defending a billionaire, and I'm not. But I believe in the truth. So I felt like I needed to bring it up in regards to this. Jez Hunt, Soros is the bogeyman of the right. Indeed. Certainly is. Right. Any more? Shelley Kelly's in. Better late than never. Certainly is, pal. Nice to see you. Jacqueline is saying, with the climate situation, especially in the global south, I dread to think what the ideological ideas of the right would be in solving the situation. They don't have any other than denial, and that's one of the things that I find really, really scary, to be quite honest with you. We're slipping into this, like, well, we're in this world of lies and have been in this world of lies, and then that's all they've got. And I think they've repeated it so many times they even believe in it themselves. Climate change, etc., etc. There's a hell of a lot of problems, and nobody seems to be coming with solutions. And the Labour Party, certainly in the UK, their only solution in their mind is for them to have a go while the world burns. Like, Keir Starmer's basically just going to become the dog in the everything's fine meme with the flames around him, but at least he'll be Prime Minister. And then Rachel Reeves will look over their last breath and go, at least we got to go. That's literally all it is to them. They get to have a turn. Absolute wrong-uns. Yeah, man, Revolutionary Blackout Network, me waiting for Trump supporters to pull another January 6th now. Their boy has been indicted. This is the thing. Could easily go that way. And nothing would surprise me in terms of like sort of armed violence from the right, while they whip up their supporters to tell them that it's the left who are to blame. That's the game, and that's what's occurring. That's going on right now. One of the things I wanted to just touch on before we go, and it's a bit of hope, I think. One of the biggest landlords in Los Angeles just defaulted on $755 million in loans for 2 skyscrapers as remote work keeps offices vacant. This is the thing. And this is a huge part of the whole COVID thing. And by the COVID thing, I mean the denialism around it. Commercial landlords, and just landlords in general, we've seen in the UK. I saw an article the other day about buy-to-let landlords. There's a lot of them defaulting on these mortgages. So what that means is like, you know, there's going to be contagion in the market because a lot of it's predicated on buying and selling houses. We saw what happened in 2008 and how that spread. The banking system is weak, man, weak. And why is that hopeful? Well, I mean, things need. Clearly, I mean, like, it isn't me saying it. Like, in capitalist theory, it's like it says that things are supposed to fail so the system can learn, improve, and get better. They've just stopped doing that. It's socialism for the rich with quantitative easing, and like capitalism for everybody else, and not any kind of like ethical capitalism either. It's brutal, and it's just last days of capitalism, spiraling out of control, treatment and abuse of everybody ever. We see this with like the people who are fleeing the global south because it's unlivable, and they're they're talking about throwing them in prisons, internment camps. Really, it's absolutely evil. But if that's like the thing is, right, they're not stopping this because they're in denial. They can't possibly conceive of anything else being able to work. So for me, let capitalism break, because that's in your that's in your theory. So just apply your theory. Let's test your capitalist theory in practice, shall we? But guess what happened when Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss came in with some of that libertarian flavors? We all know about that. Have you seen the denialism around that? It's almost from people on the right as if that never happened. Denied and deflect as all these people have got, and that's scary because they're not even trying to defend their position with anything other than attacks. And that's exactly the same for right-wing Labour Party supporters as well. It's just deflect, deny, and attack. There's opportunities out there, and I sincerely hope your man Corbyn does the right thing. But we'll see. I'm hearing tell there may be an announcement on things, but I've heard that so many times I don't believe anything. But there you go, little tip for you. Oh, sorry, I'm still a bit rough here. David Zane, nice to see you, pal. New York Police have overtime next Tuesday for sure. Yeah, indeed. He also goes on to say, watch the landlords of office blocks flood the market with cheap apartments. Defo. And last one from Jacqueline before I get off. Oh, StreamYard, man, stop it. Right, here we go. Of course, if the banks fail on the weekend, they'll be bailed out and up and running on Monday. I think they will, but I honestly don't think they can keep throwing that money at it. It's just crazy. But anyway, we're going to do a bit more on the economics and stuff next week. I cannot wait until I'm sleeping properly because we've got so many great guests. I just do not want to like keep messing people around because there's a couple of people where I've postponed 3 times because of this illness, thinking it's over and then it's not. So we'll keep going as we are. Obviously we'll go into next week and I think we'll maybe have like our guest and take it from there. But I'm starting to feel a bit better. Starting to pass stool without much urging. So that's wonderful, isn't it? Shouts to Michael Sweeten and Carlos there popping up right at the end. So yeah, all the best. Have a great weekend. As ever, keep your bells on and select all notifications on youtube.com/Cow Daily because I might pop up over the weekend and just do some stuff. I was thinking about doing some like changing it up a bit and doing, because I've been watching how other people do live streams and they don't do it like I'm doing it. They just kind of like hang out and things come in and they react to it. I was thinking about doing like an earlier first hour like that and then not uploading it again, but then coming back and doing the second like sort of 45 minutes like this so I can get the YouTube clips and stuff. Let us know what you think about that because I quite enjoy the hangout as well, like with you and having the crack, and it would have been, we can probably get some funny clips from that, having the crack with you as a guest. But yeah, I don't know, I want to try that as well, see how people are doing it. Let us know what you think, pals. If you want to support my work, go to patrun.com/Cow Daily. Link in description for PayPal. Have the belterest of all your weekends. I'm out of here. I'm off to walk the dog on a beach and enjoy. Bye-bye.